thinks, well, I've performed very well. Why do I not deserve the chance? But if Roy Hodgson just keeps saying, Hart is still my number one, Hart is still my man, he's the only one I trust, what does that say for the backup keepers?
First game of the World Cup. First game of the World Cup. Who do you want in goal?
I don't know yet. I don't know why have I got to decide now?
You'd be happy to go in with Fraser Forster.
I've no
I understand
idea
he's had some brilliant games against Barcelona.
Why do you have to decide now? Why do you have to decide in November who your goalkeeper is?
Because you play Forster against Chile, I understand that, and then...
But if you're the backup keeper,
you need to show support in Joe Hart, because Joe Hart has been England's best goalkeeper over the last 4 or 5 years. We had this argument on the eve... Sean, we had this argument on the eve of the World Cup, and we all said, why is Capello not playing Joe Hart? He's had an absolute brilliant season for Birmingham. Play him, and then we had all this messing around with different goalkeepers. Robert Green is a good goalkeeper, David James is a good goalkeeper, but they are not in Joe Hart's calibre. But he doesn't have to do it now. He does not have to decide now who his goalkeeper is in the World Cup finals. It's not essential to decide that. And equally, he has to give a message to backup keepers that they, if they perform well, they will have a chance to play in that team. Why should they not have an incentive of being the first choice keeper? Explain that to me. I don't understand that. Look over the last 3 or 4 years. Okay, you are looking at mistakes made, and I agree, mistakes made by Joe Hart, a cluster of them in the last 3 or 4 months, and you can tack on some from last season, Switzerland, what have you. But if you actually sort of look at a goalkeeper who is now, age-wise, he's beginning to sort of move to his, you know, supposedly the golden era for a goalkeeper, sort of 26, 27 to 31, 32, so he's there. Fantastic. Forster comes in and he puts a little pressure on Joe Hart. Fantastic. But then what are you going to do if Fraser Forster makes 1 or 2 mistakes?
I agree. You
have to look with goalkeepers over a longer period about their ability.
It's not guaranteed that if Forster comes in that he will prove that he should replace Joe
Hart. The other issue
with
goalkeepers is that you have to build up a relationship with their centre-halves. If you start rotating your goalkeeper and you've got sort of Jagielka, and I don't think England's actually got a particularly brilliant central defence, particularly compared to in previous years. I think you need to have that Jagielka, Cahill, Hart understanding built up. And that's one of the problems that Hart, and I understand he's had issues, and I agree with your point about his timing and his decision-making coming off the line, and it certainly needs sharpening. And Joe Hart, anyone who knows him, he'll be working with that. He'll be working with Dave Watson with England to develop that, because Joe Hart is an individual who wants to improve, and that's why I've got faith for him for the next sort of 4 or 5 years. But you need to build up that understanding, and the fact that an individual and an organiser and a leader like Vincent Kompany hasn't been in that Manchester City defence has also been an issue for Joe Hart. And I'll tell you what, are you totally convinced that Pantilimon is not going to make a mistake in the next few games?
No, not at all. Equally, I wasn't with
And then we can be sitting here next time and think, oh, thank heavens Hart got back in.
And is this
so it's a general point. We discard individuals too quickly.
He's not been discarded too quickly.
Joe Hart deserves a little bit of patience.
No, but he's saying he's been discarded too quickly. He's not been discarded too quickly. He's had chance after chance after chance after chance, and it's taken quite a while before he was discarded. So don't just bat me away with it. Oh,
no one can ever bat you away.
No. He's still England's best goalkeeper.
Andy, is this a short, sharp shock for Joe Hart? Is this only temporary?
No, I mean, the interesting thing about goalkeeping in general is how, if you're dropped from Manchester City, how do you force your way back in? How does he get back into a team that more than likely is going to be winning an awful lot of games? And if Pantilimon keeps an awful lot of clean sheets, then how do you get back in? You know, you don't suddenly regain confidence. I think that's the issue for Joe, is actually getting back into the Manchester City team. I think with England, just my brief contribution to it, is that if Roy Hodgson already has made up his mind that his number one goalkeeper, then he should play him for most of the time. And, OK, give the occasional little, half an hour run out to half to the other keepers. But there's nothing wrong with Roy Hodgson saying, listen, you're my number one, you're not getting dropped, you're going to be my number one goalkeeper.
You don't say that to anybody else on the pitch.
So, I do think his England place is far more secure, far more guaranteed as Manchester.
What if he doesn't play for Man City? Well, go on, tell me. Just say that as you've just said, Man City win a lot of games, and we get into, I don't know, just say you got into February.
Maybe he's the Capital One Cup goalkeeper.
Surely he can still play for England, even if he's not playing for Manchester City.
We've had this debate loads. What a goalkeeper, particularly if he's not. So you've decided he's playing in the World Cup finals. Let's say he just doesn't play for Man City at all till the end of the season. Fraser Forster's playing in the Champions League. Oh, he certainly would. Fraser Forster's playing in the Champions League till whenever Celtic are beaten. You go with Joe Hart, even if he hasn't played for Man City at all.
I have such faith in Joe Hart that he will go away, work on these issues, and he'll be back restored.
No, but
Manchester
say he's
City's
not.
Number one.
Just say he isn't. Because, as Andy says, you've almost got... It now requires Pantilimon, probably, to make a mistake or 2 or 3 to come out of it.
But, sorry, do you think Pantilimon is a good enough goalkeeper?
I haven't seen enough of him, Henry. I really haven't seen. I've seen bits of him. He's done OK. I don't know. You can't say you've watched Pantilimon all lots. You haven't. You haven't.
I saw him against your lot, and OK, he made one good save against Papis Cisse, but it's difficult to judge him on that. Obviously, you couldn't judge him yesterday. I've seen enough of Joe Hart over the last 3-4 years to know he's a good goalkeeper.
It'll need a Pantilimon mistake probably for Hart to get back in.
We're going to move this on, but England's first game. It is a shame, but first game of the World Cup finals. Does Joe Hart start?
He probably will. Yeah.
Andy?
Yes.
I don't even need
yes,
to ask.
exactly.
What was I possibly thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, the England squad has announced